seems like a bull market. It is a bull market, I guess one has to say.
Yeah.
Voltas, I was just looking at valuations, will trade at, I mean, if it trades at say 430-ish, it will trade at 35, 36 times earnings. There is always the summer trade which happens, you know, you can get 10, 15%, and it's already done that. What is your sense really on this entire space, the white goods space?
I can't speak about specific stocks, but otherwise I think white goods stocks typically do well when you have a lot of cash in the system, and especially during summer, as you said, air conditioners generally do very well, and the summer is quite bad this time. So therefore, I think there's a good reason for sentimentally for the market to price these air conditioned stocks much higher. But otherwise, I think with the sort of burgeoning middle class, you will certainly have enough demand for white goods, which are efficiently managed, companies which are efficiently managed and are able to deliver at good price points. And I think that is what we are seeing. I mean, this is one area where there has not been a great slowdown ever since probably the 90s. Yeah. So therefore, I think this is a steady performer. By
the way, I don't remember the last time we had not a hot summer, right?
Every summer gets
hotter. I think part of global warming, hopefully.
But how should one look at these stocks? I mean, one argument when you talk to investors about these kind of companies, well, the first thing they'll do is they'll tell you what is the size of the Chinese market for ACs.
Correct.
Right? And they'll say, well, the market here is 1/10 of that. So there is lots of. Is that the right way in your assessment? They do the same for cars and other things as well.
Well, I think, eventually we should probably reach somewhere there. But the point is, I think how fast we do it is something that, because if some other country has done it in 5 years, it is not necessary that we should do it in 5 years. It will probably take quite some time, because I think the bottom of the pyramid is very large here. So therefore, it will take quite some time for the incremental purchasing power to come in and show in terms of higher white goods consumption. So, but I think there has been a steady performance in that, in growth there, and I think that will continue. I don't think it will accelerate in a very big way.
Okay. Well, Prashant mentioned China, and Trump tweeted about China today as well. There's a meeting which is going to happen between the two nations. Trade deficit, job losses is something Trump is concerned about, and that's going to probably result in quite a heaty exchange. Your sense in terms of how important it is as a trigger for global cues?
That's very important, because if you see the trade has been the basis on which we have had globalization. So therefore, if there is a question mark on globalization on account of restrictions to global trade, I think that will have a dramatic impact on international markets, including India for sure. So therefore, I think while probably Trump has some views on these matters, but I think what comes out of these negotiations are very, very important, because whether he's going to have that hard stance on trade with China or otherwise he's going to continue as it is, I think these are very important issues that need to be debated and need to be factored into any investment.
But do you think that we've kind of isolated ourselves, at least in the start of 2017, say with the UP elections, with GST on its way, and now with the rupee appreciating as well, we've sort of created a niche for ourselves that we might not face as many ripples as other countries would in case of a global turmoil? Is that the way to look at it?
No, I don't think so, because, well, of course, quite a lot of the performance post-UP, if you see, is on account of FII inflows. That has been quite dramatic, especially this month has been phenomenal, one. And second, I think the rupee appreciation, probably bordering on overvaluation, is going to have an impact on exports. And IT, pharma, these are very important things. I mean, most of these get exported to the US. So therefore, trade negotiations have a very big impact on our international trade, and even probably FII inflows. So therefore, I think may not be very direct impact, but otherwise indirect impact is going to be quite substantial, even for India.
You like capital goods, Mr. Bhat, right?
Well, I think if there has got to be a turnaround sometime. We have been talking about this turnaround for the last 2 years, and I think if anything, we are closest to turnaround, and I think we should be there.
Yeah. Which segments, though, really? I mean,
see, the only big activity that is happening is EPC now, because whether it is roads, whether it is new plants, oil and gas and stuff like that. I think that is where there's a lot of activity, largely pushed by the government, and so therefore that is one sector where you would certainly see some good activity. I think EPC is a place I think worth looking at.
Okay, our director is telling us that we only have 30 seconds more left.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to quickly ask you, Mr. Bhat, how confident are you about, say, a 10,000 Nifty this year?
Well, if everything goes well, I think 10,000 is not very far away. It is just about 10% from here. So 10% return per annum is not something that is very difficult to achieve if you go by history. So that should be possible if everything falls in place, and GST is a great success. I think we should probably get there.
Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Bhat, thank you very much.